One more time. Let's start rolling solo. Hello and welcome to Rolling Solo, an actual play of one, where this week and for the last few weeks we are playing Daggerheart. Um, this is a new system that came out. You've heard of Daggerheart, you know what it is. It's from Darrington Press. It's amazing. Um, we have been playtesting a couple of classes. Um, and from the Daggerheart playtesting materials, we're playtesting the Witch and the Warlock classes, and I think it's going pretty well so far with these characters. Um, so let's recap a little bit with what we're doing. So the campaign frame that we're playing is the Witherwild, which is one of the 6 campaign frames available in the Daggerheart manual, and this is the one that's available on the SRD. Um, the premise of the Witherwild in this particular case is that um, for reasons that we don't need to get into, the people of the city of Haven have invaded the um, outlands, the towns and villages of the Fenwick, and have taken over large parts of their arable land in order to grow um, fields and fields of flowers. They need fields and fields of flowers because they need the one red flower in 10,000 white flowers that carries the cure to a disease that they have brought upon themselves. It's a long story. So, um, the in order to promote a better growing season, the Havenites found one of the small gods of the Fenwick, the uh, I believe it's Nikta, the great horned owl. And I've said that about 7 times now, or 6 or 7 times, and I just want to make sure that I'm right. Um, which just give me 1 second here. I'm just gonna check this out and just make sure that I have this right. Um, yep, it's the great owl Nikta. Okay, good to know for everyone's uh, betterment there. Okay, so it's the great owl Nicta. They plucked out one of the eyes of the great owl Nicta. The great owl Nicta has a sowing eye and a reaping eye. They plucked out the reaping eye, and that leads to an infinite growing season, constant spring, which is causing a phenomenon known as the Witherwild, which is that plants, animals in the Fenwick are slowly becoming more, they're growing larger, more dangerous, coming in twisted and misshapen forms. It's a bad and weird situation. The ordinarily, so into this situation steps our heroes, Soot and Shade, two unassuming um, humanoid jackalopes from the town of Alula. They are looking for work, and they were up in another's town of the town of Low Passage. Thank you. Town of Low Passage, and they met up with one Simrock Unli, a um, member of the operations of Haven, who offered them some money in order for them to go back to their hometown and hunt down an individual known as the Fanewraith, who wants to find the Great Owl Nicta and pluck out their sowing eye, thus ending the infinite spring and possibly any springs ever to come again. Um, who knows what would happen with that? And so the idea is that they want to stop that from happening. Um, they have made it back to Alula. They have met up with the Fanewraith. They were traveling with the Fanewraith, but have recently managed to slip away from the Fanewraith's company and are now deciding, as the Fanewraith heads off to find the Great Owl, Soot and Shade must decide what it is that they are going to do with their, you know, they must decide what they are going to do next. Are they going to call in Haven? Are they going to try to find the Great Owl and warn them? What is the plan? So that's where we're at. So, hey, with that, let's get started. So we open, it's still night, but I think in campaign days we started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it's still the dead of night because, as you'll recall, days and nights here last for 7 days apiece. That is 7 24-hour periods that we would consider days makes up 1 day, and then another 7 days makes up 1 night. So there's a 7-day 7-day night cycle. And the so it's night now. There is light enough to see by. There's a lot of the Fanewick. There is a lot of bioluminescent. There's a lot of bioluminescence. So as we come into the forest, as we see where we're going, we see Soot and Shade. And at this precise moment, Soot is examining the ground as a gifted tracker. And he is examining the ground using his witch senses. So he's kind of a rather tall, digitigrade legs, bunny feet, pronghorn antelope horns, big ears. Like I said, gray dark fur is named Soot because of the kind of darkness of his fur. It's kind of a charcoalish gray and in patches. And white in patches. He is crouched down at the ground. Over his shoulder stands his sister Shade, somewhat shorter, much darker of fur, much smaller horns, and but also fairly tall jackalope. A lagomorph is the name that I've given to this mixed ancestry. So there's Soot. He's checking the ground. He says, they've gone this way for sure. They get up and keep traveling along. He says, well, I had a bit of an idea, which is that we could, if we wanted to, try to get around them, get ahead. And how are we going to do that, brother? Well, I think I can get us moving a bit faster Ask the spirits maybe for a ride, as it were. Ask the spirits for a ride. You've never been able to do that before. Well, I think it's worth a shot. And we will spend 0 stress to recall a new card, Conjured Steeds, out of our vault. Put Towering Stalk away for the moment. Why I didn't have that in my loadout already, I don't know. And so Soot, it's true, has never cast this particular spell before, but he begins concentrating, and the way that his magic works is it tends to be powders and pinches of different herbs and different materials that he kind of messes with, and they burn in his hands, and he'll hold a pinch of something and it lights and disappears. He makes passes over his other hand and something seems to boil up in a way, that kind of thing. And so as he kind of works with his own materials, slowly Soot will begin to spin out of thin air these two spectral kind of horses. Horses were built to be ridden. We're going to use horses. But that stand, that are they're there. So that's their, and they appear to be, after they're kind of spun out, genuinely large horses. Shade kind of gasps a little bit, taken aback by this show of power from Soot. She says, "So what's the plan then?" He says, "Well, the plan is that I think we try to go. We've got a pretty good idea, I think, of where they're going. I think that they're going to..." Where does he think they're going to? Where on this map? It seems like we're heading out towards Tree Spire. And if we're heading out towards Tree Spire, I think there's a better way for us to get there. Maybe not a better way, but a faster way with the horses. It'll take us around a bit. It's not as direct, but I think it's worth a shot. And says, "Lead on, brother." And the two of them mount these horses and move on. So that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to get ahead of the party of the Fanewraith by using these conjured steeds to move through the territory more easily. Conjured steeds, the card says, spend any number of hope to conjure as many magical steeds, such as horses, camels, or elephants that you and your allies can ride until your next long rest. Or the steeds take any damage. They double your land speed while traveling. So the horses will double their land speed while traveling. So let's So I'm proposing a scene beat. The beat is that they are going to ride ahead, and they are going to discover the great owl, or they're going to ride along through the woods, heading towards where they believe the great owl is. And let's see how this goes. Okay. And so this scene beats here. I'm honestly more kind of curious as to how this. So we don't know what happens yet. So let's travel through this unknown territory and see what happens. That's a 3. Deal with a difficult challenge. Okay. What kind of difficult challenge will they run into? Well, we've had them go through a thunderstorm before. I think this difficult challenge will be they've looped down south. They're heading up into the mountains, and they're kind of going along what they think is going to be a gentler slope along the edge of the mountains. So they think they can, by going down and then coming back up, they can kind of loop around and get to where the Fanewraith is probably headed and get ahead. So what kind of challenge are we going to give them? Well, let's see. Well, let's roll on the challenge sheet. Have to resist or withstand. Resist or withstand what? What do I want them to... resist or withstand. Okay. They are going to run into a situation where, as they're riding along, the horses get spooked and begin moving more slowly and more jerkily. And we find ourselves in sort of a glade that's more twisted and more strange than the surrounding areas. The path that they've taken may have been safe once upon a time, but now, with the Witherwild creeping, what once was a clear path through the trees is now crowded and covered in these strange roots, and makes for difficult terrain. They come upon what looks like it was once a clearing, but is instead kind of a riot of greenery, and this is going to they're going to attempt to cross this, and this is going to be let's say we're tier 3, so this is going to be a tier 3 environment. And for a tier 3 environment, we want What do we want? Okay, let's see. Tier 3, so we're going to make this about a difficulty 17 environment. So, let's see, we want about a difficulty 17 environment. It has dream powder. Which requires a presence or instinct. I'm gonna say instinct. Dream powder requires an instinct save. Or the person affected falls into a deep sleep. A deep sleep can be woken if removed from area or awakes in 8 hours. So we'll do that. So that's the dream pollen. So that's one thing, and then there are thorn whips. Which are a agility reaction. And they do, let's see. They do 3d8 damage. Okay, so this is just a little environment. There we have the environment. So we'll make this. I'll have to spend a fear to invoke the thorn whips. They don't realize what kind of area this is, and they because this withered grove kind of extends along far enough that they feel like they have to go through rather than around. And so the first thing that happens is we're going to have some dream pollen puff up, and we're going to have Shade make a Shade and Soot both make reaction rolls. Fun. Okay. So this is Soot. He's making an instinct save of 17. He's going to add +3 to this roll because he's extra cautious, so I'll spend a hope on that. Soot is extra cautious, so he'll get +3 there, and his instinct is 3, so he's +6 on this roll. DC of 17, though. Okay, so for that reaction roll, that's 13 +6 is 19. Sneezes, this huge sneeze. His ears flop around a bit, and but he yawns and just says, "This is my allergies," and he continues sneezing as he goes along. And then we have Shade's turn to do her instinct roll. Shade. She's only +1 for instinct. I'm gonna let her. I'll let her use suspicious, so she's +3 overall. She'll spend 1 hope there. Okay, so this is a 17. She's got a total of +3. +1 for her instinct, and +2 for her suspicious experience. Wow, okay. Check that out. We got a 10. We got an 11. So we got a 24. Okay, so on a 24 reaction roll, Shade also sneezes mightily, begins kind of fighting off the difficulty of the dream pollen, but does not actually fall asleep. She will. I think that's all that happens to them there. And then we're going to have then do the horses encounter the thorn whips? Spend any number of hope to conjure that many magical steams. The steams or the steeds take any damage. So I'm going to roll for each steed, and I'm going to roll a flat roll to see if they avoid the thorn whips. So we need a 17 on this for such steed. That is a 17. Amazing. And that is a 17. Amazing. So both of these horses, wow, okay. Both of these horses dance through as these thorn whips are starting to like snake across the ground and like come up and try to like wrap their legs. Yeah, and we'll make this also restrain you. And so this little improvised environment that we've got, our heroes just walk right through it. They don't seem to have any trouble at all, and they make it through here and continue on with their adventure. Let's see if anything else happens on their trip towards where did I say they were going? Something. The Unsleeping Wood, Dreary Way, Silver Sage, Seagloom, Keener's Pike, Stones with the Somnol Shore, Tall Spire, Tailspire Crags. Wasn't that? Tree Spire. Tree Spire. That's where they're going. Tree Spire. Okay. So let's continue on our way towards Tree Spire, and let's see if anything else befalls them as they travel. The 2, play a triggering plot catalyst. Well, okay. It's an 8. Show what a faction did here. Okay, so But what faction and what did they do here? We're getting closer to the owl. You can say Soot holds up a hand to halt, and gets down off of his horse, and it's a magical horse, so it just stands there. And he walks carefully and examines the ground. And you can see that there are, after he, kind of overgrown a bit, but not too much, you can see there are bodies that are beginning to, not a lot of them, but there's signs of, battle took place here. There's, broken equipment, and there's one person left. One body in particular that they find that is kind of over in, like, in dressed in a simple jerkin. This is a Fanewraith warrior. They have they're quite dead, weeks dead, possibly months dead, and they are wearing their tunic, and around their neck this well, what kind of person are they? They're furbolg. Are they? So around this furbolg is dead enough that it's hard to say much about it, except that it's a dead furbolg. And then, but around its neck is a chain, and on the chain is a talisman, and the talisman has a symbol of the great owl. And this is they're not expecting to find this, so their reactions are very shocked. Shade kind of turns and is kind of loses a little, kind of starts to vomit almost, but keeps it in, and Soot will do. Soot kind of steps back, but they think they're on the right track, because there was a fight fought here between someone and followers of the Great Owl. But they... do you think we should we bury the poor fella? Do you have a shovel? That's a good point. I suppose we'll just move on. And we're just gonna move on. We have shown what a faction did here. So let's go to our next bit of happening. Three. It's another difficult challenge. Something fails or breaks. Now, the thing is, Soot's out of hope. So if these steeds fail, they're stuck. But their steeds did not get caught by the thorn whips. So it seems unlikely that their steeds are going to fail at this point. They come up on a ridge, and they get a good look out. They've been traveling all day, and they think that they should be ahead of the Fanewraith's party, and that the party should be heading towards them. But that turns out not to be the case. They're looking across this valley, and they see very small figures in the far distance, about 8 of them, going up and over another mountain away from them. And this is when they realize that they have ridden completely the wrong direction. They have spent all day on a wild goose chase, and the Fanewraith is actually headed has turned and is going a different way than they anticipated. And so they have lost the track of the Fanewraith for the moment. On that note, I'm going to take a quick break. We'll be back. And we're back. I just need to get some water. My throat is a little scratchy. Alright, so now we have them having to be in a situation where they're going to have to ride very quickly through this valley just to catch up and to see if they can get to where they need to be. So it's bright moonlight, obviously, because they were able to look across the valley and see these small figures going up as just little dark blotches against this white rock in this powerful moonlight. As the so they've been traveling for many hours, but with the light of the moon, they realize that they can make it across this valley quickly, and they will begin doing so. So they go along through down the valley, and they're trying to go to catch up to the Fanewraith's party now. This is where they come upon, because that was a 5, which is meet or recall a notable character. That is where they come upon Abeldus, the Galapa, who was brought them to meet the Fanewraith. I have forgotten the Galapa's voice. I apologize for that. But the Galapa will, as they are riding their steeds up into up this mountainside, there's a trail, and as they're riding up this trail, at a narrow place in the trail, they stop, because there's a place where the trail would fall off one way and has a sheer rock on the other way before it kind of gets back onto a normal pathway. But in this one spot where there's like no way through, standing on the other side of it, holding his staff, and humming a sad tune is Abellus the Galapa. He will stand and tell them to just as well. I thought you might come back through this way. He says, I don't think I can let you travel after us any farther. I think if you just take those pretty horses of yours and turn around and go back, we're not going to have any problems. Soot and Shade are both. Shade steps forward. Says, well, why would we have any problems anyway? We got lost and separated from the group, and there's nothing we could do about it. This is going to be an attempt to... And right before she does that, she's going to spend 0 stress. Or is she? Does she have any hope to spend? She has 1 hope to spend. So she's going to spend 0 stress to recall Deaf Deceiver. I will put Blighting Strike away. Although that seems maybe not awesome. But that's what we got, so we're going to put Blighting Strike away. Okay, just going to lose a hope. And let's design our Tier 3 Galapa, shall we? Let's see, he's a Tier 3 enemy, so... Or Tier 3 adversary. So let's see. He's a Tier 3 adversary. He's a Tier 3 adversary, so we're going to give him... We're going to give him a... +3 to hit. We're going to give him 3d12 plus 5 for damage. We're going to give him a 17 difficulty. We'll give him a major damage threshold of 20. Severe of 32. We'll give him 6 hit points. We'll give him 4 stress. We'll make him relentless. And we'll say he can spend a stress to... so he's relentless 2. He can attack twice. And he can spend a stress to avoid a damage. That's with his shell, right? Okay, so there's our improvised adversary. Who Shade is going to spend her hope, which she just did, to lie to. And she is going to tell him, going to attempt to convince him that they got lost and that they were just trying to figure out how to catch up. Okay. Oof, remember when we were rolling so well just a minute ago against that environment? Yeah, it was awesome, wasn't it? He will say, I don't think so. Like I said, you guys just turn around and head back, and we won't have any trouble. Sage and Soot kind of sit there because they don't want to fight with this guy. Soot is going to try a different tact. He's going to try... Oh, wait a minute. 10, 11, 12... Yeah, she failed that. 15. Sorry, total. Soot is going to try a slightly different tack, which is honesty. And Soot is going to also make a presence roll. He has no hope. See, we're just trying to do... what's best... for the Fanewraith. He will also fail. He will fail with hope, so we do get a hope. I don't think so. I think you turn around, you do that right now. And Abellis will step forward, raising his staff threateningly, as if about to strike. So, and in fact, yeah, he steps forward as if to strike. Now, horses are notoriously difficult to get to walk backwards. You have to be a pretty good rider in order to do that. And Soot and Shade are not particularly gifted riders. And so even though these are magical horses, can they walk backwards? Do we know how to control them that well? I mean, I'm surprised they even know how to ride horses at all. They're rabbits. I think we're going to have to ask an oracle that. You know? Oh, oracle. Hell no, they can't get horses to walk backwards. What are you, crazy here, kid? So, they, you know, are like, you know, so that's the dilemma that they're in right now. Is like they can't turn around, and so it's like whoa, wait a minute, we can't even turn our horses around here. You're gonna have to let us through to where we can turn around on the trail at the very least. And Abellis will say, Well, I can solve that problem for you. And he snakes out his staff, and he's going to strike Soot's horse, which disappears, and Soot kind of falls down, lands, kind of awkwardly but safely on the ground, with his horse gone. Uh, and the Bella says, "Well, that took care of one. Now you can go ahead and just take out your other horse and turn around, and then you can hoof it back, as it were." And so he steps forward like he's now going to strike the other horse. And so the question is, do we now get into combat? Because I think for Bellis to have any chance here, he's going to need more hit points. So let's give him 9. Let's give him 5 stress. Let's give him 6 stress. Trying to get him up to solo levels here. We'll give him a spinning attack. All in close. And we'll call that a fear. If I spend a fear, I can do a spinning attack. It will attack all in close range. And do 3d12 damage. Okay. Alright. So at this point, I think he's a match for Soot and Shade, and I think that they're kind of feeling that, or feeling that at least this is going to be a tough fight, one that they don't want to get into. But now they're kind of between a rock and a hard place, as it were. Do they retreat, or do they fight? And I am going to leave that as a question for next week. We're just going to stop right there with them deciding whether to fight or flee. So that'll do it for this episode of Rolling Solo. That was kind of fun. We had some improvised environments, which is always fun, and tried to get some dramatic tension into the story, and now we've got this confrontation at the mountain pass, and our twins need to decide what exactly they're going to do. So with that, if you want a Rolling Solo t-shirt, you can get one at etsy.com/shop/ you see the thing right there, right? Yeah. Okay. And keep rolling, y'all.